Hey guys, this is Charl from worshipguitarskills.com and welcome back to another lesson. Now today's lesson is very important and I would highly encourage that you watch this whole video because the concept I'm going to cover here and the shapes I'm going to show you will give you a ton of mileage and will help you really access more of the melodic and harmonic nature of the guitar, number one, and number two, get something that really cuts through the mix when you play live worship sets, praise and worship sets. Also, if you'd like to get access to a PDF of this lesson where I cover all of the shapes that you can print out, have it handy when you're practicing, there's a link in the description box. You just click that link and go and sign up as a place for your name and email. Tell me where to send that along with some backing tracks because I'm going to use some of those as well. Then you can practice all of this. And before we get into this, if this is your first time here, make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit the bell icon if you haven't already. It'll give you notifications whenever we release new videos just like this one. And particularly for this series, I've got some fun examples that are going to come up where you'll be seeing how we can use the content I'm going to give you in today's lesson. I can use that in your playing. All right, so with that said, let's dig right in. Alright, so as you can see, those are super simple voicings, but you can hear they are very effective. So that's normally a combination we like, something that's simple yet very effective. So let's look at what exactly these are about. Now in the beginning of the video, I mentioned triads and diads. Now a triad is simply a 3-note chord and a diad is simply a 2-note chord. Now I'm going to give you a crash course version right now. So you don't have to learn all the theory, but if you take any chord like a G, a C, or a D, those are what we call triads. A G chord only has 3 notes in it, G, B, and D. All right, but those same 3 notes, if you look at this G chord, it's G, B, D, G, B, G. So even though you're hearing 6 notes there, it's really only 3 chords. And those notes are G, B, and D, which I can play on one string like this. G, B, and D. And I can play them together like this, G, B, and D. So this is your first shape that you got to learn. This is a G major triad. Okay? But now, instead of playing G, B, D, I can play B, D, G. This would be known as an inversion. It's the same notes, but I'm simply inverting them because I'm changing their order slightly, right? So instead of G, B, D, which we will call a root position, now I have B, D, G, which is a first inversion. Now stick with me, we're going to get to the fun stuff in a second. The third shape is a second inversion of a G major chord, but this time it's D, G, and B. So now I've got root position, first inversion, second inversion. Now the fun starts when we start taking things away. Now that's one of my favorite approaches to use when it comes to anything, which is addition by subtraction, we are making something better by taking something away. There's actually a very cool saying that goes with this, which is perfection is not when there's nothing left to add, but perfection is when there's nothing left to take away. All right, so that's what we're doing with these voicings. We are stripping them down, less notes to be more effective. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to take these same 3 shapes, but I'm not going to play the G string. Do that for you one more time. And these are what I call my 4-2 diads, because it's a diad chord shape. I'm only playing the 2 notes, and I'm playing it on strings 4 and 2. Right, there we go. And this is a G root position, a G first inversion, and a G second inversion. Now, technically, they are not standard inversions because they're always missing a note, but that's the way I like to look at them, because in the root position, the G note is the lowest note. In a first position, the G note is the highest note, in other words, my root. And in the second inversion, my G note is not even part of the chord, because I'm just playing a D and a G. All right? So that is pretty handy, because now you've got 3 shapes to play major chords. So if you wanted to play, say, G, C, D, super simple, you can either use the same shape and just move it all up the neck, or you can say G, C, D, G. Now when you play that with a band, it sounds a lot better because the notes are so much closer to each other and you don't have to move all over the guitar neck. Moving up and down with the same shape is not wrong, but these are just very, very helpful. Now, this is part of a series, so it's very important that you just get the gist of these shapes, because you'll see how we are going to use these shapes to come up with some really fun stuff. All right, so before I let you go to practice these shapes, let me show you the minor shapes, right? Remember, now we had G major, we had 3 shapes for it: root position, first inversion, second inversion. All right? Now, whenever you want to play a minor chord, you need to take the third of a chord and flatten it. That's why if you have A major and you flatten the third, then you go from C sharp to C, you get A minor. Or if you go from D to D minor, taking that F sharp, which is the third, and you're flattening it. Because check it out. A, B, C sharp. 1, 2, 3, right? And if you flatten that third, you get a minor. So now all we need to do is we need to look at where the thirds are in these triad shapes I've shown you and flatten them. So we had G, B, D, then we had B, D, G, and then we had D, G, B. So now if I flatten the third in our root position, I'm going to get this. And if I flatten the third in my first inversion, I'm going to get this. And if I flatten my third in my second inversion, I'm going to get this. Now I've got G minor root position, G minor first inversion, G minor second inversion. Pretty cool, right? 3 minor shapes. Now, I'm going to take the same 4-2 dyad approach, and I'm going to not play the note on the G string, which will give me this for G minor. Technically, this is not a minor or a major because it doesn't have the third. I removed that string entirely, right? Then this is G minor. And then this is G minor. Because I'm just removing those middle strings of the G string, right? So this is G minor first inversion and G minor second inversion. And that means that I now have 5 different chord shapes. I have the same shape on the same place for G major and G minor. Essentially it's a 5th, so it's interchangeable because there's no third. Then I've got this one for G major, first inversion, G minor, first inversion, and then I have G major second inversion, and G minor second inversion. Very important that you pay attention to where the root notes are, especially on the second inversion, because the root note is actually situated on the string we don't play, but it's just good to know where that is. Now you've got 5 shapes, which means you can actually take a progression like, let's just say 1, 4, 6, 5, and then you can play that in 3 different areas on the neck. So I can play G, C, E minor, D, or G, C, E minor, to D, or G, C, E minor, to D. All right, now especially if you play that kind of having a strumming approach like that, or even picking. Very, very cool. Let me put on a short little backing where I can play these exact chords with drums, bass, and pads. And let's see what that sounds like. All right, so all I did there is I used these shapes that I showed you in this lesson. Learn these shapes because I'm going to show you some musical examples of how you can use these exact same shapes to play super cool parts, whether it's ambient parts, whether it's lead guitar parts, whether it's rhythm guitar parts. These shapes will give you so much mileage on the guitar. Number one, they've got a lot of harmonic and melodic content, and number two, they will cut through the mix really nicely, which means that your electric guitar will actually get heard and add value to the overall sound. I really hope you enjoyed this lesson and this quick look into how all of this works. If you'd like to get a PDF download of this lesson, just check the link in the description box. You can go there, put your name and email in there and tell me where to send it, and I'll send that right over for you. All right, guys. That's it for this one. Thanks so much for watching. If you haven't yet, hit the subscribe button, hit that bell icon so you can get notifications whenever we release new videos like this one. And please comment, like, and share if this video has added any value for you. All right, thanks so much, and I look forward to seeing you in the next lesson.